The old Scottish saying of "it's Clyde built" is synonymous for a long-lasting quality product, and it stemmed from the many shipyards dotted around the Clyde that built many of the famous ships, including the Cutty-Sark, the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth, and of course the PS Waverly. So it's hardly surprising that the PS Waverly, which was built in 1946 at Point House Yard of A and J Ingalls in the River Clyde, is the last seagoing paddle steamer in the world. One of my earliest childhood memories is of sailing Doon the Watter on her as a trip from Ayr, accompanied by my late grandparents, and I have enjoyed many memories of her since then, and so have many other people of my age. The last time I recall seeing her was June 2018, when she left Rothesay and headed down the Kyles of Bute towards Tinnabruach. It was a chance meeting, as I was also going down the Kyles in my inflatable boat, powered by a 25 horsepower outboard. As any great lover of this old lady can tell you, she is powered by a 2,100 horsepower, 3-crank diagonal, triple expansion marine steam engine, built by Rankin and Blackmore in Greenock. This turns its massive paddles, one on either side, which can't turn independently, therefore has a much larger turning radius than modern ships. This ancient mariner in his inflatable boat could not resist racing her down the Kyles. I didn't have an easy time. With one hand holding the tiller and the other hand holding my GoPro camera, I had to ensure I didn't bounce out my boat. Deck passengers egged me on as I tried my very best to keep up with her. I was determined not to let a boatload of memories pass me by. However, as hard as I may try, she had the edge on me, and I started to fall behind. Even the gulls, following the Waverley, flew faster than this old mariner. However, I wasn't giving up yet, as I still had a trick or two up my wet sleeves. I knew the Waverley could not cut corners on the dog leg to Tinnabruach, but this old sea dog could. As she lined up for her landing approach to Tinnabruach Pier, I slowly but surely began to catch up again. Although the deck passengers had forgotten about me, I had not forgotten them, because on my race I was once again that young boy who stood on our deck throwing bread to the seagulls. I'm delighted to say the Waverley won a race, fair and square. I'm also happy to say I will remember the race till the day I die. I also hope she outlives me too and brings back memories to those who love her like I do. That was the last time I saw the old paddle steamer at sea. She was withdrawn from service the following year due to boiler problems. They were duly replaced and she started sea trials again in August 2020, where she had a short season before COVID-19 restrictions and an unfortunate accident when she hit Brodick Pier temporarily put her out of action again. So you can imagine my delight when I heard she was resuming a full tour season in 2022, including some tours from Oban, which is only a hop, skip and paddle away from my home. I was even happier when a good friend asked if I would like to film her again from his boat. I knew it would be a race we could win, and it would also keep my memories of the old lady alive. For me, it's always a pure pleasure hearing those paddles beating her rhythm of the sea. A noise once heard that's never forgot. So in June 2022, I headed for Ardorn Marine in Loch Fiochen, where my mate Douglas keeps his boat. And it is no slouch of a sib, it is a very large and fast rib, capable of speeds of 50 miles an hour. Suspension seats and stirrup straps for feet ensure I can remain on board and use two hands to operate the camera. Its 300 horsepower outboard is guaranteed to run rings round the Waverley. In truth, it's as much a thrill for me being in this boat as it is seeing the paddle steamer, and I was looking forward to my day. It was an overcast afternoon with a fresh wind blowing in our face around force 4, which the rib craft took with ease, and our cruising speed was around 25 knots, so that we were easy in the fuel. We knew the Waverley had left Glasgow that morning, and after heading round the Mull of Kintyre, was heading through the Sound of Islay on its way to the island of Colonsay, where we hoped to catch up with her. So as we had some time to kill, we took a detour round the Grey Dogs, a fierce tide race which, because of Neat's tides, felt more like the Grey Puppies. Disappointed with the dog race, we turned around and headed for the Corrie Vrecken. It was good filming practice for me, as I discovered the wind at these speeds made the gimbal motors, which hold the camera steady, were starting to struggle. So perhaps it's as well the Corrie Vrecken whirlpool was also switched off due to our timing and the Neat tides. We paused in Pig Bay for a gammon sandwich and to admire the views of the Gulf, before slowly heading on our way again. We were now heading south along the remote west coast of Jura, an island that I love. And we literally flew along it. I caught fleeting glimpses of views I know from much slower inflatable boat journeys. I started to dream about my other love whom I was about to meet. Before we knew it, we were at Loch Tarbet and the wind had dropped. A journey which normally takes me hours seemed to only take minutes. And as we were still a little early for our rendezvous with the Waverley, we turned into the loch for another sandwich. As I happily munched my late afternoon lunch, Douglas, who had been watching his AIS, which showed the Waverley's position, said, "Hang on tight, she's now leaving the Sound of Islay, so we have to hurry to catch her before she lands at Colonsay." If we were flying before, we're now going the speed of light, and I was concerned the gimbal would not steady the camera. But as we closed in on the old girl, Douglas slowed to her speed, and all was well. For me, she was a truly stunning sight as her paddles propelled her across the sea, which made my heartbeat resonate in sympathy. This time I was no longer the young boy standing on her deck throwing bread to the seagulls. I was a delighted pensioner standing on the deck of Douglas's boat, filming the Waverley as she crossed the open sea. It's a sight that not so many will see from such a close proximity. Perhaps I should add at this point, we had permission to film the Waverley from not only her captain, but also the owners of the boat. We were in close contact by VHF radio at all times, and the crew were expecting to see Douglas's boat. Our remit was we could get as close as we wanted, but not to pass the paddle boxes, unless several ship lengths away, and definitely not to cross her bows. As the Waverley lined up her approach to the island of Colonsay, we flew ahead as we were on a mission. The plan was for us to land in Colonsay Pier, then wait for Andrew, a professional cameraman, to come off the Waverley and take him with us, so that he too could film the Waverley from the sea. It was Andrew who had gained the permission to film her from close quarters, so I am much in debt to him for allowing me to tag along. And of course it also gave me a great opportunity to capture berthing at Colonsay Pier. Andrew was the only passenger to disembark in Colonsay, and soon the Waverley was casting off on her last leg of the day, heading for Oban. After she left, Douglas, Andrew and myself then clambered back into her boat and chased after her in our serious attempt to capture the Waverley, paddling the open sea. After all, she is the last sea-going paddle steamer in the world, so well worth the effort. Douglas did an absolutely sterling job of skippering his boat so close alongside the Waverley. A difficult task, as running beside her paddles had a slipstream effect on his boat. It wanted to draw it closer, but he held a steady course. The captain of the Waverley also noticed his careful course and contacted us by VHF radio, saying that we could film in front of the paddle boxes now if we so wished. So we did. Then we arrived at the North Pier Oban. I have enjoyed many great memories of the Waverley, but this trip sits right in the top. It was a very special day for me, so thanks to Douglas and Andrew for making it that way. I will certainly remember it to the day I die. Hope you enjoyed watching the video, and thanks for watching.